What's up everybody, Kier Gomes here, and welcome back. If you couldn't tell from the intro, today we are going to be reviewing a deck of cards that I have been constantly asked about since they dropped. I'm talking about the blue and green Knights playing cards by Illusionist. You've definitely seen these cards before in different colors. There was a V1 which was white and gold, and then there was a V2 which was white and red. I have reviewed these on my channel before, so if you're interested, I'll drop a link in the description where you can check it out. Now, the original two decks, which was the gold and red, were extremely popular when they came out because they came from the minds of Daniel Madison, Chris Ramsay, and Oban Jones. Basically just juggernauts in the playing card and Magic industry. But today, we're talking about the two new decks, the blue and the green ones, and while they still pay their respects to their original creators, Daniel Madison and Chris Ramsay, neither of the two work at Illusionist anymore, which means neither of the two technically had anything to do with this release. However, they did both sign off on it, and when I say that they were both paid their respects, I mean that a lot of the original concepts were maintained in these two new decks, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit. Before we get started, please do drop a like on this video and subscribe if you haven't already. Without further ado, let's roll that intro and get you guys on your way.
Let's go.
Okay, so let's review some cards. These are the tuck cases. They are both different, so we are going to be reviewing both separately. And let's start with the blue ones. The biggest difference before we even get into it is that these cards, rather than being printed with the USPCC, were printed with Cartamundi on their True Linen B9 finish. I've said it like a million times before, but if you don't already know, that is my absolute favorite stock and finish of any playing card out there. All right, let's do it. First things first, the tuck case comes on a matte cardstock. It's extremely smooth, it feels super good. It's almost velvety. It does have the two Knights. This draws inspiration from a mutual love that Chris Ramsay and Daniel Madison have for the game of chess. So foil stamped, you do get those two Knights in silver. Looks really good, look at that. Ooh, I like that a lot. On the back, you do get a glimpse of what the Ace of Spades look like. It says Knights playing cards. You see a chessboard and two Knights, making a almost spade shape. One side has your assorted chess pieces. It's the same on both sides. The top just says Knights, and you get your Illusionist branding on the bottom. Not much for tuck cases, but this one, really, really nice. When you open it, you do get a foil bar on the inside of the tuck flap. It's silver foil stamp, and then you can see the cutouts of the four suits of playing cards. The inside has more foil. It is a chessboard or checkerboard and a knight in the middle. Very nice. All right, now as I mentioned before, these cards do come on True Linen B9 finish from Cartamundi, which means that they were printed in Belgium. What this means for you if you don't own a deck of Cartamundi cards is the cards are super thick. However, they are very soft right out of the box, super springy, and of course, super flexible. On your Ace of Spades, you do get those two Knights. You saw that on the back of the tuck case. It says Knights playing cards. It says Madison and Ramsay below, so that's one respect that they were paid on this deck. Really nice Ace of Spades, not bad. All right, now rather than gaff cards with this deck, you are just gonna get two sets of jokers. So here's what they look like. First two are absolutely identical. You can see it is a king with Charlie Madison right there. So you're gonna get two of those. And the next ones at first glance would look identical, but they're not, and I'll show you what I mean. This one has a 4 and an R on it, and you have a knight facing this way. Next one has a 9 and an M on it, and a knight facing this way. The 9 and the M is for Daniel Madison, which is the M, and then the 9 is for the 9 of clubs, which is Daniel Madison's reported favorite card. The 4 and the R is R for Ramsay, and the 4 of spades being Chris Ramsay's favorite card. Now this is a fully custom deck, so what I mean by that is that there's nothing industry standard on the faces of the cards. For example, you can see on the 4 of diamonds, the 4 index is actually in black instead of red, and the diamonds have been made smaller and outlined in black. Looks really clean, looks very sharp. I always prefer industry standard, but not bad. This is gonna be what the hearts look like. Now, while there's a lot of important faces on the court cards, I'll show you some that you might recognize. We have Chris Ramsay as the King of Hearts. And you can see on the courts, the color has been stripped except for blue. My man David Blaine is the King of Spades. And of course, Daniel Madison as the King of Diamonds. This is gonna be what the back design of the cards look like. If you look close, you can see that the back design is without a solid border, and it's made up of chess pieces going in a bunch of different directions. From far away, they just look like a standard deck of cards, which I really like. One thing about this deck is that the cards are marked. I did a video last week talking about my favorite marked decks, and this was an honorable mention, but it didn't ultimately make my top 5. In that video, I mentioned that the cards were only marked for value. However, I was wrong. I got a couple of comments on that video saying that the cards were fully marked and to take a closer look. So I did, and I'm not going to tell you how the cards are marked, but upon further inspection, these cards are fully marked. So you can get the value and the suit of the cards just by looking at the back. If you're interested in finding out what it looks like, you can either buy one of the decks, or I think Daniel Madison or Chris Ramsay has a video explaining the marking system on the cards. So that's the blue ones. Let's take a look at the green ones. Okay, now there are some differences between these two decks, primarily in the tuck case. So you get that same matte cardstock on the box. This tuck case, by the way, so good. It's so good. The back just has chess pieces as opposed to the ace of spades, which is on the blue ones. One side in foil stamp says brutally graceful, and the other side says gracefully brutal. I don't know what that means, but I love it. Top does say knights in that gold foil. And of course, illusionist on the bottom. Now this one, when you open the tuck case, instead of that bar with the suits, you just get this nice thick gold foil chaffer ring that lines the edge of the tuck flap. I love that, it looks super good. Same thing on the inside, only instead of blue and silver, it is green and gold. Now your jokers are gonna be the exact same, only anywhere that was blue has now been swapped for green. The back design is a lime metallic green, which I don't like as much. I really wish they would have made the green on the tuck match the back design, but whatever. These cards are also printed by Cartamundi on True Linen B9 finish. Where you're gonna run into differences in this deck is that the court cards, instead of being stripped for just blue, have been stripped and added green. It looks all right, it's not bad. Of the two, I think I definitely prefer the blue cards, but the green tuck case is fire. Now, a big question that I get asked when I review decks of cards is, would I use this deck for Magic? Yeah, I mean, I could. I personally will not. I have workers decks that I perform with. Ultimately, you could use this deck for Magic, especially if you're just doing Magic for your friends at home or for your coworkers. But for me, I like to use extremely standard decks. Now, these decks of cards are not available for purchase by themselves. So what I mean by that is if you go to the Illusionist website, you can purchase a brick of playing cards, and these two decks are included. However, you cannot buy them independently. So whereas these you can just go and pick up for 10, 12 bucks, these ones you will have to buy a brick, and these decks will be in that brick. The brick does cost $100 on the Illusionist website. However, they are having a sale right now. It's 15% off, so you can get it for 85 bucks plus shipping. If you want to know what other decks are included in that brick, I did a video where I unboxed it, and I'll go ahead and link that in the description as well. All right, now I don't want to get too much into the handling, because I filmed the intro for you guys and you can see how the cards handle there. They spring great, they sound great in a dribble. You can see that they fan really well. One thing that I will do though is give you a magic trick, so here we go. All right, now for this trick, I'm not actually gonna do the full trick because I have done it on this channel before, but what I will do is show you guys a cool little sleight of hand move that I use all the time. It's a really good eye catcher. It's something that looks really clean on camera, so even looks really good in person, so here you go. As you can see, all the cards here are face down. You can see all face up. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take a couple of cards and just really give them a mix. Create a little bit of chaos. If you have OCD, this is probably gonna drive you nuts, so I apologize. Don't dislike this video based on that. All right, so that's probably good. So now what we have here is a mess, basically. So you can see we have some cards going face up into face down, some cards going face down into face up, and we even have some cards that are facing each other. That's the part that gets most people. Okay, so the important thing here is not to take your eyes off my hands because the magic is already done. I've actually turned every single card back to being face down. All right, there you go, there's your magic trick. Well guys, thanks so much for watching my review of the green and blue knights. I hope that satisfied all the requests that I'm getting. Also, if you'd be interested in me doing a top 5 of my favorite illusionist decks, leave me a comment and let me know. I would definitely be down to do that. Well guys, that's gonna do it for us here today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have a great rest of your weekend. I know I will. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.